Let's start off today with somebody that has been serving our community for over a decade, and we are so thankful for it. And what she has given to us and brought back to us is just mind-blowing. Please welcome Senator GAYLE HARRELL.
Thank you so very much, and it's a delight to be here. And it's the weather is beautiful. It's not hurricaning, so we are enjoying this. We could be here, and it could be blowing and raining. But first of all, I want to say thank you for coming this morning. This is a momentous occasion. Think about where we are and what we are doing here. This is so innovative and creative. And as chairman of the Transportation Committee, I can tell you in the state of Florida, this is the future of what we as the state want to achieve, is really to move into the next step of transportation. And by partnerships, you make things happen. To have the city of Port St. Lucie come together with the county, come together with the Metropolitan Planning Organization, come together with transit and with FP&L. So it's a public-private partnership. What can be better for the future of Florida? When we all work together, we all step up and say, we can do it. And this is a perfect example. You have a park and ride. You know, how many of you have been on 95 in all that traffic and sat there and saying, OMG, this is awful? How do we really look at the best way to transport people without doing more lane miles? And you know what they cost per mile? It is unbelievable. Millions and millions of dollars per mile to add lane miles. Whereas when you have carpooling and you have people riding buses, you can really reduce the need you have to expand lane miles. And as we're moving more and more to electric vehicles, we have to think about how we are going to recharge them. Because we really want to say, how can we do this in the most efficient, cost-effective way? And by partnerships, by reducing lane miles, by encouraging electric vehicles, and partnering cities, counties, FDOT. And as chairman of transportation, I can tell you we are always looking for partnerships and how we can look to the future and make sure that we're using our resources as successfully and carefully and frugally as possible. So this is the classic example of how you achieve this. Not only do you reduce the need for additional lane miles, but you also are impacting the environment very positively by really encouraging electric vehicles. So I want to commend the city. I want to commend the county. I want to commend all agencies who are involved in this. Florida Department of Transportation, a major player. Our Metropolitan Planning Organizations, major players. And of course, FP&L has stepped up to the plate with this land and the facility and the electrical outlets to recharge your vehicles. So this is a true example of what we in the state, in the Senate, and in the Transportation Committee want to see happen. So I commend you. I look forward to seeing more of this type endeavor in order to really make sure we are using our resources as carefully and wisely as possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everything you are doing, and I so look forward to seeing this become the example for the future of Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And if you picked up a program, you'll see that there are 8 speakers today, but that's literally how many partners it took to put something like this together. So we want to make sure, and they all put in so much work, and we want to make sure they all get their due time. I see that next up from our TPO, our local TPO, you know, we have to plan our transportation, and this man has been in charge of planning that transportation needs for such a long time. Please welcome Peter BUCHWALD.
There you go, that's right height there. I'll move this over into the shade, let's go. Well, God, well, whoever put it on wheels was the smart one, not me. But no, thank you, thank you. You know, I've attended several ribbon cutting ceremonies, but this is the first time I've been asked to speak. So forgive me if I go over on time because I'm so excited to actually be speaking here. But they want me to speak about the history of the project. And it starts back on that August day in 1966 when I was born. No. Truly, though, there are so many people involved in the more than 11 years of history of this project, and I intend to thank each and every one of them. How much time do I have? So in September of 1971, I attended kindergarten at Laidlaw School, elementary. No, let's jump ahead to the year 2010, when Avatar was the top-grossing film, American Idol was the most watched TV show, and TikTok was the most popular song. And the TPO's Premium Transit Rail Corridor Study recommended express bus service on I-95 between St. Lucie County and South Florida. Because at that time, over 7,000 commuters were identified to be traveling between St. Lucie County and Palm Beach County alone, with the U.S. Census data estimating 10 to 15,000 commuters between St. Lucie County and the 3 South Florida counties. So the TPO at the time sent a request to Jeff Widener, of the Manager of Strategic Development from District 4, the Florida Department of Transportation. You'll see throughout the 11 years there's a number of people who are no longer with their jobs or have retired. So it just shows the length of this project. But the following year, District 4 then approaches the TPO to identify a St. Lucie County terminus for this express bus service to replace the failing Palm Beach County to Martin County express bus service. So in response, Marcia Ladu, the TPO's transit program manager, develops a express bus conceptual service plan justifying the need for this service. And then we start evaluating the locations, being the landing at Tradition, Gatlin Plaza next door, as well as several locations, because the key was to be able to get down to West Palm Beach in about an hour to compete with an automobile. So people don't want to take any longer than they could in their own car. And we have more than 100 dwelling units within 2-mile radius of this location. So then Dale Drummond and Marianne Abore from Community Transit estimated the cost to provide such a service, and then Beth Ryder submitted from the former Director of Housing and Community Services, submits a service development grant. And we actually had verbal approval from the Real Estate Investment Trust in Chicago that owned the landing at Tradition at the time, to place a bus shelter, to also use the outlying parking spaces. But Target, as their lease provided for, ends up killing the project. So FDOT is ready to approve our express bus service, but we have no place for the bus to land, because there's no really publicly available land within the area that would get us 60 minutes to West Palm Beach, except for this little strip of land right here. And then we had the FPL land next door. So in 2012, the TPO adds to its master priority project list this project in order to support the development of a potential site. And so I want to thank all the board members at the time. That included longtime board members Catherine Hensley and Jack Kelly, and longtime transit supporters as well. Then later that year, the TPO hosted a workshop with DOT, local transit partners, and Palm Trent to discuss this establishment of bus service. But then the next year, a park and ride analysis, sure enough, confirms that this is the best location for a park and ride lot within the vicinity of Gatlin Boulevard and I-95. And so then the conceptual and feasibility study started. And this is where Will Swerrell and his team from HDR, who are here today, including Eric Boyer, Sarah Chambers, I want to thank them for that. And then the following year, the term Jobs Express Terminal was coined. This was in response to a federal Ladders of Opportunity grant that was submitted for the project as St. Lucie County was recovering from the Great Recession at the time, and the grant was intended to connect people with jobs. What a better place to connect people with jobs than a Jobs Express terminal. So we thought, oh, we're going to be winners of this grant, but weren't lucky that year. So later that year, though, the feasibility was confirmed, and then design started on this facility. I want to thank the designers from the District 4 team, including John Olson, Henry Okahena, and project managers Casey Graham, Brent Lee Sheeling, and also Raul Dominguez. This project survived more than 3 project managers at DOT alone. So again, the incredible collaboration that happened. Finally, in 2015, state funding was programmed for the construction of the project. Thank Senator Harrell and her colleagues there in the Senate for providing that funding, as well as from the work program team, Stacy Miller, Leslie Weatherall, in addition to the transit team there at the Office of Modal Development, Larry Merritt and Jane Prochowski. Then the following year, the acquisition of the right-of-way started. And not only did FDOT have to acquire the FPL parcel, but also had to acquire an access easement with the Home Depot next door. And thank you to Pamela Taylor, who was legal counsel at the time, for her support in the acquisition. We're up to June 2017. The preliminary plans have been completed, and guess what? The transmission lines now were identified to be sagging an additional 10 feet from a survey that was completed several years prior. And so we could no longer fit the facility underneath the transmission lines, because these transmission lines were being supported by wood structures. And while FPL was going to harden those wood structures and raise the lines, it wasn't on the schedule that would have permitted us to do this. So, oh, no, we're going to have a bus terminal. It was going to cost $800,000 at the time to raise those transmission lines and replace them with the concrete towers that you see today. But this is where FPL steps up to the plate. And I want to thank FPL for that. At the time, Amy Brunges, that was the former FPL External Affairs, and George Beck, the FPL Transmission Relocations Engineer, for making this happen, because they accelerated and advanced the hardening of the transmission lines so that we could build the facilities. So again, thanks to George Beck. And how many times does George Beck get a shout out from FPL? Wow. So then in October of 2018, we're moving right along now. The city executes a maintenance agreement with DOT, followed in with a consent agreement with FPL in June of 2019. With all the legal teams from the city, the department, as well as FPL, you kind of imagine the give and take that had to happen in order to get all those deals signed. And I want to thank all those givers and takers that included the City Council for Port St. Lucie and former Mayor Orovec, as well as Margaret Carlin and Jim Stokes, city attorneys, and former Assistant City Manager Patricia Roebling, and Russ Bradshaw, of course, who was very instrumental in getting that done. And then from FPL, I want to thank John Olinger, Seth Scheitelman, and Kate COTNER. Kate, quite simply, the best external affairs manager ever, which is why, of course, FPL had to promote her and take her away from us. So okay, we're moving along. We got the momentum going now, right? And continuing in 2019 with the FPL Evolution Program, and FPL agreeing to install at their cost the electric charging stations. I want to thank Anirj Chosky, Program Manager for FPL, for doing that. Finally, the construction of the project was commenced in August of 2020 with a global pandemic raging on. So I want to thank the construction team from the district, including Daniel Hayden, Katie Curis, Chad Rooks, and Michael Jacobs, and the community outreach team from Corradino that promoted the name Jobs Express Terminal, including Kathleen Dempsey and Melissa Riedling, and from the contractor, Hard Drives of Delray, Craig Elmore, Roland Embry, TJ Elmore, and Victor Concepcion. Gentlemen, you built a beautiful facility. And there are a few more who assist along the process, including FDOT District 4 Secretary Jerry O'Reilly and Director of Transportation Development, Steve Braun. And Mariah Dickel, who replaced Corinne Williams as a transit manager for the county. I also want to thank the County Commission for operating the local bus connections they'll be operating out of this facility. I'd also like to thank Ann Cox from the City of Port St. Lucie, who resolved any zoning and planning issues, and Clyde Cuffey, who successfully and professionally represented the City of Port St. Lucie from the very beginning 11 years ago. And finally, the TPO's Transit Program Manager, who enabled and has been associated with this project longer than anyone here. So thank you, Marcia Lathu. Well, now the project is complete, and you can see it was truly a multi-agency collaboration as well as a public-private partnership. And the Jobs Express Terminal is the right project at the right time, as now with the use of big data, the latest analysis identifies more than 74,000 travelers a day between St. Lucie County and Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties, which includes 22,000 workers commuting as estimated by the U.S. Census Bureau, with 82% going to Palm Beach, 10% to Broward, and 8% to Miami-Dade. And the name Jobs Express Terminal is more relevant than ever due to the increasing job opportunities that are attracting out-of-county workers here to St. Lucie County, such as the Southern Grove Jobs Corridor, the numerous warehousing and distribution facilities that are proposed or under construction around the county, and the development and redevelopment occurring at the St. Lucie County International Airport and the Port of Fort Pierce. If I've forgotten to thank anyone, I apologize, and please know that you are no less important to this project. And finally, thank you, Mom and Dad, for bringing me into the world back in August of 1966. Now, I've always wanted to say this. Thank you, And God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Peter Buchwald, for that riveting speech where you shouted out everybody from Beth Ryder to Kesha. And I can only conclude that that was a stump for some further office there at the end. That clear pandering, but we love you anyway. All right, I've lost my schedule. It's blown away. Hang with us, just a few more speakers. Next up, please welcome the Director of Transportation Development, Florida Department of Transportation, District 4. Is that what's on your business card? That is a long... Stephen BRAUN, everybody.
At least I didn't have to lower this after Peter. So good morning, everyone. I pulled up this morning with some of the DOT folks, and we see a finished product here. It looks amazing. As Peter was going through his timeline, I cringed a little bit at some of those moments to get here. But I think ultimately, the finished product is what I'm proud of, and the DOT team is proud to be here today to celebrate this opportunity with all of you. We sincerely appreciate the partnership and the leadership, really, starting with as Peter mentioned, the Transportation Planning Organization's vision for this facility, the city, the county, FP&L, and ultimately even Palm Tran really will play a role in this, as Peter mentioned, with service down to West Palm Beach. We pulled up, we saw the vehicles out there. I love acronyms at DOT, ARTS, right? Area Regional Transit. I think as you're rebranding that, I think that's going to take off here as well. So again, our mission at the DOT really provide a safe transportation system that ensures the mobility of people and goods, enhances economic prosperity, and preserves the quality of the environment and community. Community, right? Just the showing here of this event, I think is important to understand that this will be a feature and an opportunity for the community. At DOT, we are truly a multimodal agency. As an example, our state office right in Tallahassee has an office of freight, logistics, and passenger operations. They work closely with airports, seaports, the spaceport, and the multimodal transit agencies across the state. And I think part of that timeline Peter mentioned was the collaboration here in the district, reaching out to our central office. We really made a pitch for this project, that unified front of all the partners here, to say this is a good opportunity, close to the interstate, a piece of property that could be better utilized to provide mobility solutions. And that's what we have here in front of us today. So with that understanding, really increasing total throughput, right? We spoke a little bit in the drive up here. How do we, as an agency, do more? And Senator Harrell, mentioned that, right? Getting people out of their vehicles into other modes of transportation. And we believe that these type of facilities would provide those opportunities for commuters to access healthcare, businesses, education, and even entertainment, by giving them a transportation choice. So again, as mentioned, construction started about a year ago. About $2 million in construction, kind of the fruits of that labor is out there. There were some right-of-way costs associated with the project as well. And as Peter mentioned, the department managed really from the planning stages. There were a lot of names mentioned there who are no longer with the department. I think I've been in 3 different positions with the department over the course of this project, from being involved in targeting the site, the design phase, and then ultimately the delivery. We were involved in the right-of-way acquisition, the agreements with FP&L, and so forth. So again, DOT, we're proud to be part of this project, really to support those regional transit connections. I wanted to recognize some of the DOT team that's here today, from the design team, the Office of Modal Development, our right-of-way office, and obviously Treasure Coast operations that brought us to the finish line with this project. So again, thank you to DOT and the partner agencies that have been involved in this collaborative effort. And at some point, I look forward to maybe being out there and getting onto one of those vehicles too. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Okay, before we move on to our next speaker, I want to say this, gentlemen, this is a PSA. You are among friends. you can take your jackets off. We don't care what's underneath there, but survival might indicate jackets off, Peter Buchwald. You're making me hot looking at you. Okay. Next up, from this beautiful city of Port St. Lucie, serving us very proudly right now as our interim mayor, please welcome Vice Mayor Shannon Martin.
Good morning, everybody. It's hard to follow Peter. I can say that being on the TPO board for going on 11 years now, I have never met a more passionate person in my entire life about transportation planning. And we absolutely need someone like Peter because with all of us being on several different boards and committees, we kind of get bogged down and tired over time. But come back to TPO every other month, and Peter's right there giving us that passion right back that we need. So on behalf of our city council and our city administration and city team, I want to thank everyone for coming out today to celebrate this true act of community teamwork. This project addresses one of City of Port St. Lucie's most pressing strategic priorities, and that is adding more mobility options for our residents. And while this is a city council priority, we know that we're not alone because increasing our mobility and our transit opportunities is a prime concern for all of our local and state agencies and leaders. And as we have heard today, many agencies had a part in making this a reality, and the city of Port St. Lucie appreciates each and every one of you. Here in our city, we're really serious about following our city's strategic plan. It's citizen-driven, it's updated every single year based on input from our residents. And through our data that we receive from our scientific surveys, we know that our residents are extremely concerned about the need for more mobility opportunities as the city grows. And as you know, or as you may know, we just had our census numbers come through a couple weeks ago, and the city has grown to over 204,000 residents. And I think our city council thinks that's a little low, right? But it just goes to show why it's so extremely important that all of our agencies come together to work to find solutions just like this Jobs Express facility. So we've heard from our state, our TPO, our DOT leaders about why it's so important for this facility to be here and to provide excellent mobility opportunities. And so I sincerely hope that we can come together to have more partnerships like this one in the years to come, because giving our residents the best quality of life is what we all want to achieve. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. We're going to keep it moving, and our next speaker is going to represent the Board of County Commission. Please welcome longtime friend, small business owner, co-chair of the Board of County Commission, CATHY Townsend. It says it right there.
Sean is vice chair.
You all switch it up too much. I can't keep up.
Vice Chair Mitchell. And I just want to say, Peter, thank you for giving the update on everything, because you've saved me from a lot of speaking, and Senator Harrell, you too, because this is what a good partnership looks like. And I've had the honor of serving as chair on the Transportation Disadvantage Board since I've been in office, and it's great to be able to be a voice for them. And they are the ones that require this service most. And I also just want to say a shout out, because I know that Adolfo is here from our transportation, and I also want to thank Rachel from TPO for being here, because I know that, Rachel, you make my life easier when I'm at the meetings, and Adolfo, you've been a huge asset in moving forward with Marcia and our transportation. I know that in 2017, when we started the fare-free rides, our ridership was up 200%. During the pandemic, it's not slowed down. And this is also going to help with the corridor and everything and all the wonderful things that the city is doing. And so I just want to say thank you all for being here. There's no reason for me to thank all of you, because Peter did such an awesome job.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moving it right along, we talked about their partnership and the importance of it. So representing Florida Power and Light, she is no longer our external affairs liaison. We do miss her and appreciate the time that we had with her. Please welcome a dear, dear friend, Kate COTNER from Florida Power and Light.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Is this better? All right. So, good morning. I'm so excited to be here, see all of you in person. I as everyone has said at this point, I've taken on a new role, but I miss this. I miss just seeing all of you, because throughout the years, you're not just colleagues, you become friends, and family are friends that you choose, right? So I appreciate being here and with you today. So it's an honor to be here to talk about this EV project, the electric vehicle project. It's one of the city of Port St. Lucie is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, and we're super proud of that. So it made it an ideal location to really partner with this particular project. So just a little bit about the FPL Evolution Pilot Project. It's designed to boost electric vehicle charging stations throughout the entire state, to give drivers that confidence that if they get an electric vehicle, they will be able to get from point A to point B. That's what it's all about. So FPL actually has an initiative to install 1,000 electric vehicle chargers within 100 different locations throughout the state. And when this is done, when it's completed, we'll have increased that capacity by 50% for the state. Included in this network, it's 800-mile stretch. Is chargers just like this. This one in particular is a fast charger. You can charge your vehicle in 30 minutes. It's truly exciting, and it allows you to go 50 miles. So whether you're going from here to Sanibel Beach or Disney World or even to Georgia, it allows that driver to have the confidence that they can get there safely and efficiently. So also, we've strategically located these chargers to be in locations that are safe and convenient for the customer, so that they can go and patron one of the local establishments. So it helps also drive the economy. So it's very strategic the way that we've placed these locations. Currently, we have 14 operating fast chargers throughout the state, including this one. And then we have 8 that are in the works right now. So we really are on our way to help the drivers navigate into the future. So to close, I would just want to take a moment to just again say thank you for this extraordinary opportunity and partnership. It has been a long time in the making, but we're so excited to help this dream become a reality. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. We just have a couple more speakers, but I do want to remind everybody, you are all going to be invited to be a part of the picture after everybody gets done speaking here, so don't run away. All right, up next, the Director of South Florida Commuter Service, Jeremy Mullings.
Good morning. All right, so I'm sorry I didn't wear a jacket. I tried to be smart, but now the sweat is thrown through my shirt, so. My name is Jeremy Mullings. I am that one person Peter forgot to mention, but it's okay. In all honesty, I really didn't play a part in getting us to where we are today, but the program I represent, South Florida Commuter Services, now is when we jump into action. And this is a program of the Department of Transportation, and I like to think that this program is a manifestation of the commitment that the DOT has to giving people options to driving alone. So really quickly, I'd just like to talk about a really small victory we had this morning as I was driving in. So I saw some cars that I knew who they were, well, not the individuals, but what the cars were doing here. And these are people who have been calling us forever, asking, where can we park? We're part of a van pool. We work in Palm Beach County. We live in St. Lucie County. Where can we park? We're right now on borrowed time. We're in different retail locations until they tell us to leave. And I literally was on the phone with them yesterday, and I might get in trouble for this. And I told them, start parking at Gatlin tomorrow. And the gentleman said to me, well, isn't there a ribbon cutting? We don't want to get in the way. And I said, you guys will figure that out. And I had my fingers crossed driving up here from Fort Lauderdale, thinking, I hope I didn't ruin this thing. So we haven't even really started advertising this thing yet. And this is just showing us the need for it in real life. And those people are parked here today. They have one less thing to worry about. Their cars will be here. Their cars will be safe. And they know where to be every single morning. There couldn't be a better location for this facility. We are involved with over 50 parking rides in this district, right, in this region, and helping people make proper decisions to get there, letting them know how to get there, talking about different programs, creating carpools, getting people into van pools, and so forth. But I can tell you, and Steve, don't put me in trouble for this, this is probably going to be the nicest parking ride in the system. And it's a result of the type of partnership that we're hearing about today. And if we're trying to get people out of their cars, these are the type of facilities we need. We don't need to be scolding people and lecturing people that they're not responsible and they don't care about the planet or whatever. We need to give them options, viable options that are attractive to them. And this is an example of that. So we are where we need to be. The DOT is committed to this. Commuter Services, a DOT program. Our job is now to let the public know that these options exist and they're here. and let the people have their way. And I don't have a closing to this speech, so that's it. Thank you.
My favorite closing so far. On behalf of Peter Buchwald and myself, thank you, Jeremy, for that. We only have one more speech. We're going to move over to take the picture. It's going to be in between the buses, and as I look around the room at all the melting faces, I think I'm going to make it my Christmas card. As I disappear behind a wall of my hair, as it just keeps growing bigger. All right, our last speaker from the city of Fort Pierce, that beautiful city of Fort Pierce, where many people here will be catching a bus to visit downtown. Please welcome Commissioner Jeremiah Johnson.
Thank you, Terissa. Thank you all. What an honor it is to be here today. And why is this guy from Fort Pierce down here in Port St. Lucie at Gatlin in 95? Well, I get the distinct honor, privilege, and really the forcible duty of being the chair of the TPO and rounding up every other month these elected officials in a room to plan. And we heard from Peter earlier, he talked about planning and how many years it takes to come together and bring information onto a piece of paper and say, can we really do this? Can we really build it? Well, we can, and we've done a good job. So you're absolutely right, Peter. Many, many years of hard work, and here we are today. So I thank my fellow elected officials that sit in the room with us, and we hear each other out, and we argue and we fuss, but we get the job done, and that's what's important. And Vice Mayor Martin, I will say, and I commit to you that we will continue those partnerships just like you've asked, and we will reach out there and make things better for this community in St. Lucie County, Port St. Lucie, and the city of Fort Pierce. I do have to say, as the chair of the TPO, thank you to our TPO staff for their every day, their day in and day out hard work. So I'm going to give them one more round of applause to the TPO staff. They do an excellent job, and no one really hears about it, you know, and it's not always. Peter, you know, you don't get to speak too often, but you get to speak in the meetings, but, you know, we're like, okay, well, whatever. But here you are today. Thank you very, very much, and good job. So everyone, residents, those that are here, welcome, enjoy, and here we go. Thank you.
All right, as I glanced across the room at Russ Blackburn, city manager, I thought I better thank his staff for putting together today's event. So I want to thank Kate Parmalee and Sarah Prohaska for putting all this together, all of our speakers, the Boys and Girls Club for providing our beverages and Danish this morning, and all of you for spending the time here and melting away with us, and then being willing to get in a picture right after that when you're at your very best self. I can tell. So we're all going to move over and we're going to do the ribbon cutting in between the buses. We will all fit. I'm going to ask my elected officials and everybody in charge, Jeremy, everybody to be up front to make sure that you get in that picture, and we will conduct the ribbon cutting right over there immediately now. It might be a little sunny, so I'm going to ask that you go carefully but quickly.
Lisa.
You're welcome, Robbie. On the count of three, the back, raise your hands and say we're open.
Look up at the TPO drone right there.
Ah.